Hey guys, Coach Ben Lee here, checking in day 6. It's been an epic week for me and I'm absolutely exhausted. Big training session for me today, new program, going to be training twice a day to really knock it into gear to get some massive results. So I'm a bit tuckered out. So the question is, what about fat? Okay, so I need fat in my diets, so let's talk about some fats. All right, guys, just hang on here a sec while I just get myself a bit more comfortable, a bit more professional um, position here. Now, let's get taking this stuff a bit serious because, in all honesty, this is serious stuff that we're covering. And over the next 30 days, it is epic content. And I'm here to try and transform lives and bodies, okay? Because a lot of this information, after the end of this 30 days, you will have the knowledge to transform your body, all right? Okay, now, why do we need fat in our diet? All right, so let's break it down with good fats and bad fats, and how fats help us, and how much fat you need in your diet, and when it comes down to your macros and things like that. Now, see, this is what happens with fats, right? So fats can make you smarter. They can help us grow muscles. They can help us fight cancer. They help us lose fat, and they make you look younger. All right, so I'm not going to go into this and break all that kind of stuff down, how fats do that sort of stuff, because it's just fats is like a massive topic that I could go into for like an hour, 2 hours. So I'm just really going to hit the high points on this, so that you guys have a better understanding of what are good fats, and so what are bad fats, what you need to stay away from, and what you need to include. All right, so here we roll. All right, so what are healthy fats? Okay, so fats are organic molecules. All right, so these are made up of carbon and hydrogen elements. All right, so these are joined together in long groups called hydrocarbons. All right, now based on the way these molecules are joined together, that's how we get these different fats are formed. Now that's a bit of scientific jargon there for the people that have a bit more of an education when it comes to this sort of stuff. But to break it back down again, there are three main types of dietary fats that you need to be made aware of. All right, so saturated, monosaturated, and polyunsaturated. All right, so the difference between saturated and unsaturated is that the fat lies in the bonds structure. All right, so saturated fats contain no double bonds, while unsaturated fats contain various degree of double bonding. Probably still a bit crazy. So I want to break it down even further. All right, now with these three fats, these healthy fats, okay, so since humans evolved by consuming a diet lower in saturated fat and higher in polyunsaturated fats, particularly omega-3s, it's often recommended that we supplement with these healthy fats each day to help with controlling our saturated fat intake, so fish oils and things like that, yeah? So why is a healthy fat intake so important for us? Now, fats help with powerful effects in our body, and healthy fats have been shown to offer a lot of benefits. With protecting the cardiovascular system, they improve body composition, they elevate depression, they prevent cancers, they preserve memory, they preserve eye health, they reduce what else? They reduce I can't remember that one, guys. They reduce ADD and ADHD symptoms in the average person as well. All right, so I've covered there a little bit about why we want to have good fats in our diet. Okay, so we talked a lot about the good fats, such as omega fatty threes, and where they come from. Obviously, fish, but they're good fats. So by definition, obviously there's going to be some bad fats, right? All right, so the good news is that because most bad fats are created from industrial processing, all right, it's difficult to get excessive amounts of bad fat from whole unprocessed foods. All right, so whole unprocessed foods, going back to previous podcasts on single ingredient foods and how we need to incorporate single ingredient foods. All right, so single ingredient foods are foods that have our polyunsaturated fats, okay, our monounsaturated fats, okay, so good fats. All right, so the fat that we eat can influence the structure of our plasma membranes. Now, because the type of fat we eat can influence these membranes. Um, this is why fat got a bad rap back in the 80s. All right, so fats were all pointed as the root cause for high blood pressure and elevated cholesterol. So what happens is, if we've got bad fats in our diet, then the cell membrane is going to become more liquidy, okay, and then we're going to see the increase of fat or in our arteries, and then with a high cholesterol and all that sort of good poop. All right. So what are bad fats? So the bad fats are trans fats. Okay. So these trans fats, they don't only raise the bad form of cholesterol, but they lower the good forms of cholesterol as well. Okay, um, so high trans fats intake is also linked to a higher risk of Alzheimer's disease, and what else? And they also can be claimed for cholesterol free. No, no, sorry, no. Let me just get this straight, guys, so I don't give you the bum drum. All right, so high trans fat intake can be linked to Alzheimer's, and what else can they be linked to? Um, Sorry, guys, I've had a totally mind blank. All right, but anyway, so bringing it back, cholesterol-free, low-saturated products. So most of these fatty acids are unfortunately contained in these products, and so most of the public thinks that they are healthy, which they are not. So what we're talking about here is your low-fat options, no-fat options. Okay, so the fat that's in these products is is pretty much man-made fats. Okay, so they've changed the hydrogen bonds within them, those fats, and it's become now a trans fat, which is then obviously bad for us. All right, so I hope that's clear. How cholesterol can be formed from having these trans fats in our diet, not necessarily from having good fats in our diet. Okay, our monosaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats. Okay, now fewer foods are even considered universally bad, but trans fats, right? Um, they are the big one. And as far as the rest of your diet, there is no other natural occurring fats that you should always avoid, as long as you have a balanced approach with the intake. Because obviously fats are very calorie dense, so it's very easily to overdose in fats. So um, point example is I've had numerous clients where I've allowed them to have nuts in their diet, and because nuts are so moreish, they'll often overeat them, and then when we're trying to drop body fat and we're pinching their fat and doing their body fat testing, and they're wondering why, and it's often because they're eating way too many nuts. Okay, now, so what are good sources of fat to have in our diet? Well, you can get good fats from oils. Okay, so macadamia oil, coconut oil, olive oils. All right, avocado oils, from seeds. We can get them from nuts. Fats come from our meats, fish, eggs. All right, so all good fats. So no matter how fatty the meat is, it's still good for you. Even eggs. All right, so natural fats that come from products, or that aren't man-made, single ingredient foods that come in nature. Okay, paleo foods, clean foods, these fats are good for you. Okay, they help our body run and do what it needs to do. Okay, they're a great energy supply for our body, and they, like I said before, they listed all those things there before on how much of an impact that fats can have in our body. But obviously, like everything, like I was saying before, everything is in moderation, because fats can be, very heavy in calories. It's very easy to overeat them, even more so than carbohydrates. I thought I'd just touch a little bit on oils, okay? Because oils can be a little bit of a confusing one. All right, so olive oil is a great healthy fat, but it loses its healthy properties when it's cooked in high temperatures. Okay, so once it hits a smoke point, it then loses the properties that it once had, and it's no longer a fat that's really crash hot for you. Okay, so what I tend to do is I will choose to cook with macadamia oil, and coconut oil, as they're a great choice for high heat cooking. All right, so coconut oil is a fantastic oil. Like everyone that's out there these days would have heard of coconut oil, and it's because it's a saturated fat, but the saturated fat isn't a bad thing here, right? So, um, like I said before, monosaturated fats and saturated fats are good fats. So coconut oil has a host of benefits, right? So it's improves immune system, it improves your overall health. Um, it's got medium chain triglycerides, so which is medium chain triglycerides. That's a tongue twister. Is kind of up there with like protein when it comes to sort of energy intake. Like that's how much of a beneficial fat, overall quality fat that coconut oil can be. All right. I also like to use organic butter to cook with as well. It adds so much flavor, especially when you're cooking your veggies. You chuck them in the frying pan with a bit of butter. Beautiful. All right. So another really good fat to incorporate in your diet is fish oil. Fish oil has proven to be one of those nutritional supplements that does it all. All right. It should be in your diet. And if it's not in your diet, then get it in there. There's just way too much information to talk about that. So I might cover that in a couple of days later on when I start talking about supplements. All right, guys, it's been an awesome podcast. Sorry, not a podcast, a video blog. I did the podcast last night. So loving the feedback that I'm getting from everybody. I'm hoping this information is getting out there and it's making sense because I'm really enjoying breaking down the content and getting it out there for you guys. All right. Ben Lee, peace out.